Shortage of food essential services hit IDP camps in Plateau. Nigerian Senate meets service chiefs over national security challenges. President Tinubu confers national honors on entire Super Eagles contingent. On the international scene, South Africa sends urgent request to International Court of Justice on Israel attacks. Many thanks for joining us on the news hour on Trust TV. I'm Sakir Ibrahim. On the news in full, shortage of food and other essential services has hit camps of internally displaced persons in Mongo and Pankshin local government areas of Plateau State. Some of the IDPs, while lamenting the scarcity of food in their camps, are calling on the government and other public-spirited individuals to intervene in order to help them survive. Trust TV's Adu Musa completes the report.
The IDPs, who are victims of the crisis that ravaged some communities in Mongo, said they lack food to feed themselves and their children. Trust TV gathered that for the past 1 week, no food has been prepared for the IDPs at the camp, adding that some of them often leave the camp in the morning to seek manual work in order to buy food.
In this camp we need food and security. That is the major problem of the people, food, because we know that there are a lot of helps that have been coming, but the food that have been coming is not enough for the people. The sharing is not of number. Maybe a family, you find that the gift of food is only a measure for a family. Then it will take some weeks before another one come again.
We come and stay here. We don't have food to eat. There are some people that they will come and help, but not enough that will satisfy us. We are managing our life. The clothes we will wear, we don't have. We don't have things that we lose them. If says that we start thinking of all those things, it's a pity.
Matthias Ibrahim, one of the camp director in Mangu, explained the situation at the pilot primary camp.
What we are presently facing from all the IDPs, in all the IDPs places, is the challenge of food. So because all the people that are displaced from both the communities, their properties are burned down completely. They raise down their food, their clothing, whatever food, what items they have are all destroyed. So what we need at the moment is the food. And this food that we need is part of the immediate thing that will resolve the crisis. Because if people are in hunger now, they'll be thinking about anything else. So if food are provided at the moment, because in the camp, there's no food items in the camp. So people are living by the grace of God.
Some of the IDPs who have been at the camp since last year, April, said they are willing to go back to their homes to continue farming activities if their security is guaranteed. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
On to stories around security, bandits have killed 2 policemen and 2 other residents and abducted about 40 persons in an attack on Kaswandaji town in Kauranamuda local government area in Zamfara State. Residents said the bandits invaded the town early on Tuesday and started shooting indiscriminately to scare residents. A resident of the town, Abubakar Kaura, said the bandits entered the town with sophisticated weapons, including anti-aircraft guns. He said the bandits attacked the home of the former state chairman of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, NURTW, Hamisu Kaswadaji, and abducted one of his wives and grandchildren. According to him, despite the house of the former NURTW chief situated close to a police station in the town, the bandits still attacked the house as well as the station, disarming the policemen on duty and killing 2 of the officers. Another resident of Kaswadaji, who pleaded anonymity for security reasons, said the bandits also killed 2 residents of the town during the attack and abducted about 40 persons. Although the spokesperson of the Zamfara State Police Command, Yazid Abubakar, confirmed the attack, he, however, did not indicate the number of persons abducted. And the coordinator of the National Youth Service Corps in Cross River State, Zemo Andrew, has confirmed that many of the Akwa Ibom State Corps members who were kidnapped en route to Sokoto State months ago for the national service are being released alongside their driver. He said only a few are yet to be released by the kidnappers. Andrew also disclosed that They have not been posting corps members to Bakassi local government area and will also not post them to other volatile places in the state. According to him, the scheme is mindful of the safety of the Nigerian citizens deployed to the state, especially as 1,734 more have been assigned to commence their national service with effect from this week. Andrew explained that they do not also deploy those with aquaphobia to coastal places, maintaining, however, that they do sensitize them about greater benefits available in rural communities. He appealed to the state government and collaborating partners to intervene in the upgrade of facilities at the Obubura Orientation Camp, as corps members would be converging for camping soon. And the Senate has met with service chiefs and heads of security agencies to deliberate on the spate of insecurity in the country. The Senate also extended the invitation to the 2 ministers of defense, the 2 ministers of police affairs, as well as the Minister of Interior and the Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, NIA. The Senate around 11:30 a.m. suspended its rules to allow the non-lawmakers to gain access to the plenary. Recall that the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, had 2 weeks ago summoned for a meeting last Tuesday, but the meeting did not hold as scheduled as a result of the absence of the NSA and the Chief of Defense Staff. Akpabio later said that the Senate preferred to have a robust team, including that of the economic team, at the meeting. The meeting was rescheduled for Tuesday. The Senate leader, Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele, moved a motion that the Senate resolved into a closed-door session to receive security briefings. The lawmakers and the various heads of security and economic teams thereafter went into a closed-door session after a voice vote by the Senate President.
The Senate decided to take this option for us to have this interaction because of the various petitions that we have received from our constituents. And as part of our major oversight function, we decided to do this through Committee of the Whole. And so it's because of the need for us to hear directly from you, and then from there we can also brief the people. If there is any need for any cause for alarm, if there is no cause for alarm, we'll also know. And if there is anything you want the National Assembly, the Senate to do, we'll do so working closely with our partners in the House of Representatives. So we welcome you.
Nurses and midwives in Nigeria have staged a peaceful protest against the new standards for certificate verification laid down by the regulatory body, the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria, NMCN. Aishat Momo reports.
The nurses and midwives on Monday took over the streets of Lagos and Abuja to voice their discontentment in the new certificate regulation guidelines set up by their regulatory body, NMCN. The professionals, while showing their disapproval, mentioned that the new demands by the regulatory body are forms of oppression to nurses. They called on the federal government to reopen the verification portals without restrictions. They stated that the standards for nurses and midwives certificate verification have been revised in a memo released by the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria on February 7, 2024. Saying that the qualified candidates need to have worked as permanent practitioners for at least 2 years after receiving their license to get their verification certificate.
What we are asking is this: remove the verification circular that you have just released, remove it. Employed nurses. Nurses are all over everywhere unemployed. Yes. There is no nurse shortage in Nigeria. Yes. There is no nurse shortage in Nigeria. Yes. There is no nurse shortage in Nigeria. Yes. And I challenge all Nigerians, let them advertise for nurses employment today.
I hereby plead on behalf of myself and the whole nurses. We want them to withdraw the verification guideline within 48 hours.
We are calling on the NMCA registrar, Nurse Umar Farouk Abubakar, yes, to reverse the new verification guideline. Yes. Instead, Nurse Farouk should work towards proper placement. Yes. For nurses in the federal health system and states in general. Yes.
The process should be digitalized with immediate effect. It should be digitalized with immediate effect. And we are telling you today, if you dare us, we will shut down the healthcare system.
The nurses concluded that if after some weeks there is no positive response from their regulatory body, they would be forced to take their next action, which would include a nationwide strike.
Meanwhile, despite an extension of the deadline for intending pilgrims to register for the 2024 Hajj by the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, the number of intending pilgrims has failed to reach the allocated 90,000 seats for Nigeria. The low turnout has been blamed on the economic downturn currently plaguing the nation, which depleted spending ability of the average Nigerian. Our Trust TV reports that with the February 12th deadline now officially passed, with Nigeria yet to meet its quota, many are worried how the country will meet its financial obligation to the Saudi authorities. But also, as Bayelsa State Governor Duye Diri is sworn in for a second term in office on Wednesday, expectations are high that he would quickly record big wins in the area of healthcare delivery, infrastructure development, agriculture, youth empowerment, and improved water supply. Residents of Bayelsa State who spoke to Trust TV ahead of the inauguration are looking forward to a robust re-engineering of the socio-economic fabric of the state to justify the confidence reposed on him. Our Jonathan Awanye completes the report.
Second tenure inauguration of Governor Duye Diri, Bayelsa State residents have urged the incoming administration to focus on healthcare delivery, road network, agricultural and improved water supply.
We get it right in terms of water. One of the complaints in Bayelsa State is we depend on those who hope to buy water. So if we can sit down, with the Commissioner for Water Resources, it should appoint somebody who have the know-how, the right knowledge to see that water flows in Yenekwa. Improvement of electricity, now that power has come into the concurrent list, it means that we too can generate our own electricity, and that
tried its best in almost all the areas. But what bothers us most is the youth development, because youth is made up of so many that they made up most of the electorates that have voted for him. So you should concentrate on the education of youths, development, empower them.
But I believe that this election is as a result of what he has done for the people of Bayelsa State. And so I also believe that having spent 4 years piloting the affairs of this state, doing all that he needs to do to uplift the people from poverty, my charge to him is for him to redouble effort, to build on those legacies, to build on those things that he did that has endeared people to him, to work more on them.
For the prosperity government to look into erosional issue, looking into building a facility that will tackle erosion in this state, so that when we have issues of flooding, do not affect the lives of people so much, like the cases we have experienced in the years back.
In an interview with Trust TV, Daniel Alabra, Chief Press Secretary to the Bayelsa State Governor, said Bayelsans should expect more developmental projects.
Bayelsans should expect from the governor to do better, and he has said so himself. He has given that assurance that his second term will be better than his first term. In terms of infrastructure development, in terms of human capacity development, in terms of development in all sectors, whether in ICT, whether in even in sports, in bettering our performance in sports. In every sector of the state's economy, the government of Senator Duye Diri has given that assurance that it will do better.
Governor Diri and his deputy, Lawrence Erujabo, will be sworn in for another term on February 14, 2024. Jonathan Awaye, Trust TV News, Yenegua.
Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has fixed 14th February 2024 to conduct election in some polling units in Taraba State following irregularities that marred the earlier rerun election in the state. The by-election will hold in the Taraba State federal constituencies of Jalingo, Yoro and Zing local governments, where over 4,000 polling units results were cancelled, while over 12,000 votes were cancelled in some polling units in Barade, Majidadi, Turaki A and B, Kachala, Sambe and Magoi ward of Jalingo. According to the coalition officer, the commission will ensure that the rerun elections is conducted free and fair.
ADC 42 885 APP 5 27 2897 votes received.
Also, bills seeking to set university degree or its equivalent as threshold for candidates seeking elections into the offices of the President, Vice President, Governor and others seeking political office was stepped down by the House of Representatives at the plenary on Tuesday. The bill sponsored by Representative Adewumi Onanuga was titled A Bill for an Act to Alter the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended to change the educational qualification for elections into certain political offices and for related matters. Presenting the bill, Representative Onanuga said it seeks to add value to the political leadership in the country by having people with a minimum qualification to hold political office in the country. It was, however, stepped down for second reading after a lengthy debate by members who spoke for and against it. Also, cultural beliefs and myths prevalent in society contribute significantly to the prevalence of breast cancer in northern Nigeria and Nigeria as a whole. A breast cancer survivor in Kaduna recounts her harrowing experience, almost losing her life due to cultural factors that discouraged her from seeking treatment at a hospital after being diagnosed with cancer. This is the story of Evelyn Kiangma, who underwent breast cancer surgery in Kaduna. Trust TV's Bello Musa brings us more on her journey.
Evelyn Kiangma, a 39-year-old breast cancer survivor, faced immense challenges when diagnosed with the disease in 2023. The cases of breast cancer is on the rise in Nigeria, with over 28,000 cases recorded in 2022. Many mistakenly believe cancer to be a spiritual element requiring traditional remedies rather than medical intervention, a misconception that nearly cost Evelyn Kiangma her chance at survival.
When I did the cancer test and told me that I have cancer of the breast, when I had that, I was so confused. I was scared. I said, how am I going to do? How am I going to do with my family? Because by then we don't have money. No money for the drugs, no money for surgery, no money for chemo.
And when the thing happened, everybody bring his own idea. This one will come with this one. There is so medicine for so place, so this place. We even went to my village for the native medicine. We did there almost 1 month. Try, nothing happened. So we have to leave the place, come back to Kaduna.
According to Suze Kure, who tragically lost 6 members to breast cancer, combating the disease necessitates collective effort and heightened awareness.
And I feel like if the government will make it mandatory that if women are both women of reproductive age comes to the hospital, whatever they are coming to do a checkup for, they should also be examined for the breast cancer, because in the United States every year you have to go do mammogram. So
several women at the Yusuf Nsoho General Hospital in Tidunwada, Kaduna note that many are susceptible to breast cancer due to their reluctance to seek medical attention.
Seriously, breast cancer thing is something to be concerned about, and I encourage women out there that they should please try to be checking every month. Check yourself, it will save you too.
Some of the women, they have this sickness on them, and which they don't have any, they didn't have any knowledge about it.
And even if
you feel you're healthy, or you feel you don't have any lumps or you don't have any pain, regardless, you're supposed to know your status, because as a female, we are prone to having all these challenges, all these conditions. So you only know your status by coming to check yourself up and doing all this screening, so that a medical doctor will screen you and let you know of your status.
I want to know if I have the cancer. This is the only early stage that I can take care of it. But if I don't come for the checkup, I won't know if I have it. And maybe before I know it has gone far.
Women in Kaduna are advocating robust effort across Nigeria to combat breast cancer effectively by creating awareness and medical services accessible. Bella Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
You're watching the news on Trust TV. Coming up ahead, we'll take a look at how social media content is impacting negatively on radio broadcast. This and of course many more stories after the break. Join us again. Thanks for staying with the news hour on Trust TV. A recap of our top stories again. Shortage of food essential services hit IDP camps in Plateau. Also, Nigerian Senate meets service chiefs over national security challenges. Moving on to more stories now. 4 individuals lost their lives in a tragic accident involving 2 trailers and passenger cars in Zakalio community of Jos North local government area, Plateau State. Eyewitnesses reported that the accident occurred when the trailers loaded with flour and salt en route to Bauchi State lost control at a bend, resulting in a collision with the trailers and 3 cars. Peter Yakubu, spokesperson for the Federal Road Safety Corps, confirmed the fatality, stating that 4 individuals died on the spot, while 9 others, including men and women, sustained injuries and are receiving medical attention at nearby hospitals. Nuruddin Hussein Magaji, the branch secretary of the Nigerian Red Cross Society present at the scene, noted that some victims suffered critical injuries and were immediately transported to Jos University Teaching Hospital and Plateau Specialist Hospital for urgent treatment. Also, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has expressed satisfaction with the progress of road construction in the territory. Wike made his feelings known while inspecting ongoing projects within the FCT that have May 29 as delivery date. While inspecting road projects handled by Julius Berger and Arab contractors, the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike reviewed significant developments within the infrastructure landscape of the FCT. These projects include the Outer Southern Estate Phase 1, the Vice President's residence and the Wuye Bridge leading to Zone 7. The minister assured residents of President Tinubu's commitment to transforming Nigeria into the nation of their dreams.
I think we're quite optimistic that with the speed of work and taking advantage of the weather, we believe that by May, these projects will be ready. Of course, they didn't work for 3 days because of the construction workers' strike, 3 days workers' strike. That alone took a lot of things out from them. But we believe that we will not have a repeat of that incident again. I will always plead with everybody that they should try as much as they can to pay their ground rent. We have published the last set. Those who are still in the one of 2023, we gave them till the 14th of December last year, after which we are going to revoke it. We're human. We believe that yet things may not be as good as people expect, but we have extended it to another 2 weeks, after which we have no choice, if you don't pay, but to revoke the title document.
Elsewhere, the Imo State government has sealed up the Plaza Housing Everyday Supermarket and other businesses located at Ikenebu in Owerri, the Imo State capital. This follows an alarm raised by an Imo-based engineer, Kingsley Onwubiko, over structural defects noticed at the plaza. The move, according to the government, is to keep it out of operation pending when a proper integrity test and possible reinforcement will be done on it. On Trust TV's Ajibade Praise was at the scene and filed in this report.
This is the plaza, and at the time we visited, officials of Owerri Development Capital Authority, OCDA, had sealed up the entire building, shutting all businesses cited in it. When contacted, officials of the agency said they acted upon an order by the governor, Hope Uzodinma, whom they said does not want any incident of building collapse that will lead to loss of lives and property in the state. The engineer who raised the alarm described the move by the state government as a welcome development.
To point out these failures in our society. I am so happy that just a little post yesterday, His Excellency saw it, the governor of Imo State, and they proactively ordered OCDA to do their job. I'm happy this morning that OCDA, within 24 hours of my publication, OCDA has swung into action, sealing up the property, waiting for proper integrity test and assessment to determine major causes. The two causes will be total demolition, could as well be underpinning and restructuring of the failed sections of the house.
Recall that the state few years back had experienced a building collapse leading to loss of several lives and property. He maintained that his team are on the lookout for structures with similar cases to expose them and avoid any impending danger.
We just x-rayed one sample out of many samples which my consulting team they are working on presently. Most of our structures that have stayed more than 25 years in Imo State probably were not constructed by raw professionals having issues in the states. Most of them have been converted into warehouses and carrying point loads that are more stronger than its capacity, built capacity, and they're having issues. My consulting team, which I have formed, a voluntary consulting team, working on them, inspecting some of those major structures. So Imolites, wait for us. We are coming. We're going to hit hard to expose critical issues that can take lives in the Imo State.
Though some residents of the state who patronize the supermarket may face some discomfort following its sealing, many acknowledge the fact that the government's action is in their best interest. They hope to see the problem fixed and normalcy returned. Ajibade Praise, Trust TV News, Owerri.
And in Kano Northwest, a federal high court in the state has barred the state government from further demolition of residential buildings at Salanta Quarters, which was earlier marked for demolition. Justice Simon Amobeda, while delivering judgment in a fundamental rights enforcement suit, held that the landed property in question was legitimately acquired and therefore cannot be demolished without the consent of the owners. The plaintiffs had approached the court in July 2023 seeking protection of their rights to the property they owned but were marked for demolition by the Kano state government. The court then granted a temporary order restraining the state government from further action pending final determination of the case. Our counsel for the plaintiffs, Kabiru Ishaq Kofa, said by virtue of the court judgment, Kano State Government or Kano State Urban Planning Development Authority, KANUPDA, their agents or privies are perpetually forbidden from invading or demolition or even forcefully acquiring or removing any of their property or taking over the property or rights therein against their wish. Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf had ordered the demolition few days after assuming office, accusing the previous administration of land allocation to cronies and illegal sales of some lands belonging to public schools, graveyards and mosques without recourse to due process. Still in the northwest Nigeria, Governor Umar Namadi of Jigawa State has highlighted the importance of a strong partnership between the government and the media in fostering transparency and public awareness. The governor, who stated this at a recent meeting with representatives of the media, expressed his commitment to work closely with the fourth estate of the realm, particularly those dedicated to covering his government's initiatives. Governor Namadi emphasized the crucial role of the media and how it plays in keeping the public informed, especially during challenging times, and urged media outlets to actively engage in educating Nigerians on the current hardship, as well as government's efforts geared towards addressing the nation's economic challenges. Governor Namadi commended the media for their role as the watchdogs of democracy and pledged to provide necessary support to those genuinely committed to objective reporting. He stressed the importance of constructive criticism and constructive dialogue in enhancing governance and addressing the concerns of the people.
I think we're in a trying period in this country now, a serious trying period that needs people to be informed and sensitized. So it is important you use your medium to educate people on the current economic situations the country is undergoing. This is quite abnormal, but it's also a trying period. It's something that will soon be over, inshallah. So we should appreciate that God has given us life and He has given us good health. So inshallah, this trying period will soon be over, but people need to be sensitized to understand. The government is doing all it can to ensure that they have eased the situations. The president is very much concerned with the situations, and all the state governors were all working hard to see how we can reduce the pains on our people. So I think it is important you also take this message and separate it across to the populace, because it's very, very important. It's a trying period and it will soon be over, inshallah.
And still staying with the media, broadcasters in Nigeria say radio stations in the country are facing a myriad of challenges, limiting their chances of survival as profitable businesses. These challenges, notwithstanding, radio, according to them, still remains relevant in information dissemination despite the huge influence of social media. They spoke on the heels of events commemorating this year's World Radio Day in Nigeria. Trust TV's Hamid Oyegbade files the report.
Radio is one of the most dependable and widely utilized forms of media in the world for more than a century. Even with the advent of social media, radio is still relevant among people across the globe.
Radio came to Nigeria in 1932 and it has played a very veritable role in the evolvement of the Nigerian nation. Radio is powerful because of its immediacy. Radio is powerful because of its affordability. Radio is accessible regardless of your social status, regardless of your financial status. You can afford to own a transistor.
Yes, people do actually listen to radio these days, but it's not as we used to have it back in those days anyway.
Because they even have keen interest in listening to radio because they believe they will extract the facts from radio stations much more than social media.
On November 3rd, 2011, member states of the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization proclaimed February 13 every year as World Radio Day, and this was adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 2012. The chief executive officer of a leading radio station in Osogbo, Osun State, Femi Adefila, said radio stations are facing serious challenges, particularly with the current economic crisis in the country.
The cost of energy has risen to an alarming proportion. And secondly, our major source of revenue, which is advertising, the budget are strong. Most advertisers now are looking towards social media, the digital platform. Those are the twin problems that we have. But what is sustaining us is the fact that, yes, radio is a traditional means of mass communication, and we still have a preponderance of listeners out there that we need to satisfy them. What one needs at this time is to see content as the king. Broadcast is the content-driven business.
The theme for the 2024 World Radio Day celebration is Radio, a century of informing, entertaining, and educating. Amid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Oshogbo.
Also, as Nigeria joins the rest of the world to mark this year's International Radio Day, broadcast experts are advocating the establishment of specialized radio stations to cover areas hitherto underreported. In an exclusive interview, the manager of the first private radio station in Kano, Adu Warawa, said radio has over the years changed the religious and political perception of people in northern Nigeria for good. Warawa said areas of education, environment, as well as science and technology have remained underreported.
So I can say in Kano market, or generally in northern Nigeria, you can see radio contributed immensely, especially in this 21st century, in politics, in political enlightenment and religious enlightenment. Yes. But the other sectors, education, healthcare, environment, radio did not do much. You know why? Because people don't sponsor programs to educate somebody. We are now grappling with people to invest in education, healthcare, environment, and the rest, so that we can see more contribution of radio toward the societal development.
And residents of Makurdi, the Benue State capital, have voiced concerns over what they call interference by social media on effective radio broadcasting. They stated this while speaking to Trust TV on the sidelines of the 2024 World Radio Day held on the 12th of February 2024. Jimmy Adzande reports.
Yeah, and some of you listeners were saying it's World Radio Day. Well, we're so thankful for you because you invite us into your space every single time. What did we ever do to deserve it?
This is Lizzie Amanyi, a radio presenter with Brothers FM Makurdi, enlightening the public during a live presentation. Broadcast journalist Theophilus Samble says the medium is still very much useful to the listening public that appreciates its value.
Radio is still the most valid, the most potent, the easiest tool of communication across the world. Why? Because it is cheap. You know, without you don't need data to access radio, even though we have loads of online radio platforms now. But with your transistor radio, with your phone without data, with your torchlight phone, so to speak, you know, you can have access to different radio channels and, you know, get information at your fingertips.
Some of the residents say, in spite of the rise in social media, they depend on the radio for credible information.
Call on those in rural areas to see radio as one of the medium which they can get informed of the activities of the government. They should forget about the issue of Twitter or Facebook. It's not everybody that can afford 1,000 naira to get data. So I urge them to get their 2,000 naira to get a transistor radio, to glue to it. Even though on the farm, anywhere, they can get informed about government activities and policies and make informed decisions.
I used to listen to all radio stations, starting from Voice of Winter, BBC, Germany, French, and our Radio Nigeria, and Radio Benue FM Stereo, and Brother SM, all of them, over both Joy FM. I used to listen to all the news.
Radio broadcasting, according to them, is still viable, despite its obvious challenges.
Yes, we are aware of the emergence of the social media in particular. People say it's competing seriously with the radio. Radio can never be competed because quite a number of people still use it. So radio remains very critical as far as communication is concerned. Yes, there is no doubt we have challenges. There are challenges in managing the radio, particularly now that the power, there is no power. Nigeria is facing a lot of challenges in this power sector. Most radio stations are driven by diesel now. Diesel is 1,350 naira per liter, and you can only imagine.
Radio is the easiest and cheapest means of information gathering available to the general public in cities and communities. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
The Corporate Affairs Commission has announced that it has captured at least 300,000 unregistered businesses. The move by the CAC is in line with their mandate to register 20 million businesses to boost economic development, reduce poverty, and create wealth and employment opportunities for Nigeria. Chamun Dabeng reports.
In order for a business to exist legally in Nigeria, it must first be registered. However, several SMEs have slipped through the cracks and have been functioning without being registered. To ensure compliance, the Corporate Affairs Commission is working with fintech platforms to capture unregistered businesses. Addressing the press in Abuja, the Registrar General of CAC, Hussaini Magaji, announced that 300,000 businesses have been captured.
In compliance with the provision of the Company and Other Matters Act, to enforce a particular provision of the law which mandate that for a business to take place in Nigeria must be registered, and failure to do so is a crime in Nigeria. And today we are gathered here to receive another bulk of small businesses from an entity in Nigeria called Opay Services Limited, where we are going to receive a number of small businesses taking place through Opay without registration.
Although unregistered businesses continue to function illegally, the CAC says such businesses would not be made to face the long arm of the law, as it is important to regularize them. The Registrar General, while emphasizing the need for the registration of businesses, stated that it is imperative for self-protection against issues such as fraud. Magaji also stated that as long as one benefits from their brand, they must be captured in their books.
So anything that you gain from that name, you must register, either in cryptocurrency business, bitcoins, whatever, content creators, followership, you ought to register with CAC. That's why we have classes of registration: company registration, business loan registration. There are classes of kind of registration that can accommodate that kind of business you are doing.
According to the CAC, the exercise is being carried out with the consent of the owners.
For any person that had to be transferred to CAC, there must be a consent of that customer. So I believe they must have a provision of sensitization among their customers to carry on this task.
Magaji also announced that an additional 30,000 Youth Corps members have also been captured under their registration program, totaling 330,000 individuals. In order to ensure compliance, the CAC is working with fintech firms to sensitize the informal business sector. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Let's now join Yusuf Akogu, who's standing by with business news.
Welcome to Business News. I am Yusuf Akogu. The value of e-Naira in circulation rose by 302% in 9 months to 10.26 billion naira at the end of September, reflecting the increased adoption of Africa's central bank digital currency. The increased adoption was driven by transactions via USSD channels. The increase represents 131 percentage points higher than the 171% increase recorded in the same period of 2022. Introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, in October 2021, the e-Naira is a digital form of the Naira and used just like the paper money. The e-Naira wallet is a digital storage that holds the e-Naira. Downstream operators have concluded plans to exploit investment opportunities worth $575 billion in the downstream sector of the Nigeria's energy industry. This is targeted at reducing emissions, enhancing health and well-being, ensuring affordable and clean energy, and promoting safety and responsible economic growth in the nation. The Major Energy Marketers Association of Nigeria, MEMAN, disclosed this in its latest report. According to the report, a breakdown of the opportunities to be created through the decarbonization of the operations include $272 billion in power, $127 billion in infrastructure, $96 billion in oil and gas optimization, $80 billion in industry, and $2.8 billion in clean cooking. Access Bank Holding PLC said the choice of Bolaji Agbede as the acting group CEO of the company is in alignment with succession planning practice. Commenting on the appointment, the chairman of the company, Abubakar Jimo, in a filing to the Nigeria Exchange Group, noted that Agbede is the company's most senior executive with exceptional rich professional and leadership experience and understanding of the Access Bank culture. He said the acting GCO will provide the leadership to steer the company towards attainment of a strategic vision of building a global connected community and ecosystem. A statement made by the company's board of directors stated that the appointment is subject to the approval of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Now to the commodities market. Traders of essential commodities in Nigeria Center of Commerce, Kano State, on Monday promised their resolve to reduce prices of their commodities. Nigerians can't wait. Of course, fingers are crossed. Let's look at how the commodity price is looking today. Of course, in Lagos, my 12 market, a basket of tomato is still being sold at 49,000 naira. At Marna market in Sokoto State, pepper is being sold for 15,000 naira. If you're buying a 50 kg bag, it's for 19,500 naira. Palm oil at Ogbete market in Enugu State is going for 26,000 naira there. Granite oil at Utako market here is still being sold at 43,500 naira. For honey, 50 kg at Asaba, rice Ogbegonogo market in Delta State is being sold for 30,000. And for sugar, 50 kg bag there at Dankaba market in Kano State is going for 60,000. And of course, yam tuber at Zakibia market in Benue State is being sold for 13,200 naira. From food commodity to stock market, despite its positive start to this week, mixed feelings still trade Nigeria's stock market as investors shift focus to fixed income securities. We look at how it went down today. PZ doing not so good, they're 9.87%. Morrison also down 9.84%. And of course, Computer Warehouse Group, CWG, also down 9.70%. And of course, this has dragged down the all share index by 0.33%. Market cap, not really affected. But perhaps with this negative territory, you understand that billions of naira will be shared there off the market cap. 55.652 trillion is stand there. Volume of trade 263.192 million naira, and of course value at 4.300 billion in a days of 8,640 there. We look at some of the top trading equities. We have the like of Veritas Capital trading 49.074 million shares, UBA 23.687 million shares, and of course Transcorp Nigerian PLC 17.667 million shares as well. Of course, we have some gaining equities. Today we have Honeyflower gaining 9.92%, Julie 9.90%, of course Cornerstone Insurance also gaining 9.88%. So these are the highlights of the stock trading as it went down this Tuesday on the floor of the Nigerian stock market. Let's look at the markets in Africa and the rest of the world. Now to the FX markets now. There is no end in sight to the lingering foreign exchange crisis as Naira crossed over 1,500 Naira against the US dollar at the official exchange rate market. Let's see today's data. Finally, in business, oil prices edged up on Tuesday as uncertainty over fighting in the Middle East kept markets on edge, but gains were capped by concern that continued high interest rates may weigh in on energy demand. And the London market, the Brent crude sells for $82 per barrel. For the open basket, price dropped down to $81 per barrel. That's business. I am Yusuf Akogu.
Thanks to Yusuf Akogu for business. And on the foreign scene now, South Africa has urgently appealed to the International Court of Justice, the ICJ, to assess whether Israel's proposed extension of its military operations into the city of Rafah warrants immediate action to safeguard the rights of Palestinians. In a statement released on Tuesday, the South African presidency announced that it had formally lodged a request with the ICJ on Monday. Expressing profound apprehension, the government emphasized its concerns regarding the escalating military offensive in Rafah declared by Israel, which it believes has already resulted in significant loss of life, injury, and destruction. Let's now join Adeni Ajishafe with Sport News.
The Minister of Sport Development, John Owen Eno, who led the Super Eagles of Nigeria back home after the final AFCON 2023 match, we saw Nigeria play the host country, Cote d'Ivoire, to bring home the silver medal at the meeting with Iwobi, said he is aware of the happenings on social media, adding that the Ministry of Sport is against bullying sportsmen and women who are exposed to the menace due to the outcome of competitions. The outcome of the final AFCON 2023 match has seen Iwobi experience a routine of unpleasant remarks hurled at him by cyber bullies. Senator Eno encouraged the footballer, whom he said did his best, and the entire nation appreciate the Super Eagles. The Minister of Sport condemned any activity which seeks to bully or harm any Nigerian athletes. And still on football, President Bola Tinubu on Tuesday received the Super Eagles after their second place finish at the 2023 African Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire. The 25-man squad of Super Eagles arrived in the Federal Capital Territory on Tuesday and were treated to a breakfast meeting before proceeding to the State House. Vice President Kashim Shettima won the Super Eagles semi-final and the final matches at the stadium in Cote d'Ivoire. Meanwhile, the federal government of Nigeria has rewarded each member of the Super Eagles with a member of the Order of the Niger, MON, National Honor, a flag, and a plot of land in the Federal Capital Territory for finishing second at the 2023 AFCON. President Bola Tinubu announced the rewards at the Aso Villa in Abuja upon their return from Cote d'Ivoire. President, Nigerian Football Federation Ibrahim Gusso appreciated the federal government for the honor bestowed on the entire team.
We have a people window that we are trying to organize a high quality friendly matches for the team, for them to prepare for that very important match we are talking about in June. And that will take place in March during the people window. And by the grace of God, we will give the coach all the necessary support he needed for us to see that at least, as still, we'll go back to our feet.
Captain of the team, Ahmed Musa, said the team will do better next time.
We really appreciate all Nigeria for the massive support that they do to us. It's not that easy. We know everyone wants the cup, but that is what Allah decided that is going to happen.
Super Eagles goalkeeper Sterling Wabali also expressed joy for the honor.
He said he will really try our best. So, but it's up to him, to show this appreciation to us. But I really appreciate him so well. I really appreciate him so much. To be really honest, he really tried for us.
African Player of the Year, Victor Osimhen calls for solidarity towards teammate Alex Iwobi on the attacks by cyber bullies, while also thanking the federal government for the reception.
And now we have to go back to our club to keep up the good work, and hopefully we get called up by our national team and give our all also. And of course, the goal is to get a ticket to the World Cup, and I think we have the team and we have the squad to achieve that.
The Super Eagles won 5, drew 1 and lost 1 of 7 matches, scoring 5 and conceding 3 goals to emerge runners-up at the 34th edition of the Continental Football Showpiece. The Super Eagles players will depart for their various clubs while they reassemble in March for another international competition. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Achishafe.
And that wraps up the news hour on Trust TV. Do well to follow us across all of our social platforms and catch our live stream on YouTube for more news programs and documentaries. I'm Sakir Ibrahim. Have a good night.